Hey everyone, I'm Timmy Scott, and if you're new here, welcome. As you can tell by the title of this video, I'm going to give you 5 tips to know how to know you're in a toxic environment. Now, a lot of you know that toxic environment is more brought up in a workplace, but it doesn't have to be that. It can be literally the environment you are living in. Now let me break it down for you in helping you get out of a toxic environment if you feel these steps are necessary to address. If this is the steps for you. Number 1, conflict. You all know what conflict is. Everyone goes through conflict. I went through conflict. As I made previous videos before, I was brought up with Jehovah's Witness. That's one of their favorite things to do. Now this goes for anybody really, but I'm just saying that they love to do conflict. They love to give conflict. They love to put out negativity to people, more than they think they don't. And I'll tell you what, they're always trying to instigate a fight. They want to make you feel insuperior. They want to make you feel intimidated by them. Passive aggressive. They want to put you down. Make you feel more worse about yourself. Or at least they think they try to, anyway. That's their way of causing conflict, intentionally. They want to cause conflict, but they don't want to hear anything about the message that's given back at them. They want to run away from it. That's their way of starting conflict. Way of getting what they want. Anyway. I mean, this can go for anybody. That's just one of my examples. Number 2, you're always stressed out, and you don't know why. I mean, you do, but you don't know how to address the problem. Because as I mentioned in the first step, conflict. Conflict is one of the key elements to a toxic environment. You don't know how to get out of a conflict without making it happen. Well, you can address certain topics without thinking you are going to start a conflict. If you think you're going to start a conflict, you can also just walk away altogether. And that's what I did. As I mentioned before, I had to get away from conflict because I knew it wasn't for me. It was always negative. The environment I was in was always negative. My family was passive-aggressive. They intimidated me, belittled me, made me always feel worthless about myself. You get the idea. For those who are current members of watching my videos, you get the idea. Number 4, they, again, like to intimidate you, make you feel smaller than you think you are. They like to, again, be passive-aggressive toward how you are and expressing your feelings and stuff like that. Again, that's the whole intimidation, being passive-aggressive, etc. I've learned to stick up for myself more often than I should. More often than I should give myself credit for. Number 5. Another example of being in a toxic environment is acceptance. Acceptance makes a big difference. Now this is the whole ploy of being actually friendly with people, with each other, with the world, as it should be, as one. And that goes all into tie with what I mentioned about conflict, passive-aggressiveness, and all that. Acceptance is everything. If you want to be accepted for who you are, not what you are, it's the same lines of respect. You give respect to get respect. That's how it should work. You know, and it goes along again with the lines of you put out negativity, you get negativity back. And a lot of people don't realize this, regardless if it's a religious cult or not. People don't realize that they're in a toxic environment as a whole. And I knew I was in a toxic environment. The older I started getting, the more I started seeing I'm in a toxic environment. But I didn't know how to get out of it when I did. I always felt like I was going to be stuck there forever. And I thought I was never going to make it out alive. For those who are my true friends, the ones that do care about me for me, not because of who I am and what I am and all that, know I was in a toxic environment. And again, this doesn't have to be geared toward a workplace. It's pretty common to figure out that you're in a toxic workplace, but this doesn't have to be in a workplace. It can be around your family and friends, per se. And a lot of people don't get that, don't realize that. But it happens. It's been happening a lot. The human race has been changing a lot. And I am a prime example of being able to escape a toxic environment when I did. Again, people always find a way to belittle me, to make me feel worthless about myself, to intimidate me, them making feel more superior than they think they are. The only reason they do this is because they're insecure with their own life, and they have a lot of things going on. They'll do it even to their own family members. I'm trying to just help people address seeing if they don't realize they're in a toxic environment. Realize that that other person is pushing them into a corner to make them feel, again, more intimidated than they like to think they want to act. Like the person that's making them feel intimidated anyway. I wanted to address this to people who might find this video helpful. At least I think so. Again, I've lived in a toxic environment at one point in my life, and I thought I was never going to get out alive. I thought I would never get out alive. I have, unfortunately, my own blood family has a lot of insecurities, a lot of negativity around them, and they don't want to accept the fact that they do, that they realize it, which is why I escaped when I had the chance, which is why, looking back at it, understand why. And it's mostly because of the religious environment they're around. I mean, not necessarily that specific reason, but that's like the main source of the problem. You know, again, you put out negativity, negativity will come back to you. And again, that's why I had to escape a toxic environment, because I didn't like what I was seeing, how people were treating each other, and they weren't accepting each other for who they were. And I'm a good example of leaving conflict altogether. I got away from it. I don't like starting fights with people and putting out negativity in the world. I don't have the insecurities like my own family does and my own so-called friends I thought I had. But looking at it now, understanding, if that's what it's about, it's understanding why they are the way they are. It sucks, it hurts, knowing the fact that they are the way they are like that and don't want to accept the fact that they are, that they have a lot of negativity around them. Yeah, again, it sucks. It sucks knowing that they're always going to live that way, live that life of being around constant negativity, making their own family insecure. Again, this is just some of my helpful tips. What I wanted to also address is, I'm not looking for sympathy. I'm just explaining and stating the facts of reality, for me anyway. And anyone who I want to know your input. I know I have a lot of extrovert witness friends. Did you wake up and realize that you escaped a negative environment? I'm pretty sure you realized it is and all that, but I just want to know your input. Your voice. I want to hear you speak out your feelings. And I also have decided to recently as much as I hate to say it, but it just was really hard for me because I was in a toxic environment. My home life was toxic. So given that, leaving, I left with a lot of anger because of the way I was brought up, the way I wasn't being respected. I tried to put out as much respect as I could, hoping to get accepted, instead just to be pushed into a corner to not be the way I was hoping for in my own family. But now that I understand, I can finally be able to truly, while I'm working on it anyway, be able to move on from that environment that I was once in, that toxic environment. Little rundown. I was in about 5th grade when the toxic environment, once the stress really started getting to me. I don't know the percentage of it, but there's a lot of people out there that go through a stressful environment, a stressful situation and stuff like that, and escape altogether, like I did. I happened to manage to escape it. And again, I'm not looking for sympathy, I just want people to understand what I went through. And there are people that are true friends of mine. Now I'm going to get into another topic about backstabbing, as I made before, but this is a literal geared topic of what it means to be a backstabber or have it come back to you. Anyway, again, that's another video topic I'm going to get into. Again, what were some of the things, if anyone has escaped a toxic environment, which I know there people will be, but I want to know your input. What were some of the ways that made you realize what was in a toxic environment that made you wake up and get out? Again, there's 5 tips I've left. What were some of the main points that made you want to get out and leave? I want to know your input. You don't have to give specific details. I'm not expecting that. I don't want that. I don't want you to give exact pointed details, but I just want to know your opinion. What was some of the main points? You don't have to be fully specific, detailed, but again, you can leave little details. Again, what made you get out of a toxic environment? For me, again, it's because of the way I was raised. The way I wasn't being accepted as much as I was hoping for from my own blood family and stuff like that. So again, I want to hear your opinion. What are your thoughts? What are your valid points? What made you decide to leave a toxic environment? And with that, again, like I said, I will be making another video about backstabbing. Be on the lookout for that. And with that, I'll see you guys in the next video.